Woody's World is brought to you by Shanahan Steakhouse, and we want to emphasize to you again today that because they're now open on Sunday nights, and they want you to think about Sunday night at a steakhouse, and the best one in town as far as we're concerned, that's Shanahan's out there at I-25 in Bellevue. We don't mention the address enough. You can see the big sign that says Shanahan's. And they have on special on Sunday nights for $49 a person. And any of you that have ever gone to a steakhouse know that's a hell of a deal. They have an entree. You can choose from the steaks or the seafood. A side dish, and we don't mention it, the cream spinach is really good. We always talk about the lobster mac and cheese, but those potatoes they have, get the baked potato loaded with stuff, sour cream.
I like that as
butter.
just a meal.
Yeah, I would like to take the steak and the seafood and put it on the baked potato, in fact, and save room for dessert. Yeah, sure, that's going to work out. Tell them to bring you a box with the dessert in. $49 a person. Make a reservation at shanahansteakhouse.com. Woody's World. Sports writers are scum. Wouldn't you agree? Sports writers are scum. Sports writers are scum. I know you would agree. Sports writers are scum. I know you would agree. Take three. They rank with politicians, tax collectors, people that work for the IRS. Oh, what do? I work for the IRS. Oh, man. I carry cards around that say I sell drywall wholesale. So when somebody asks me, I give them a card. And you don't believe it, but I will give you one of my cards that says I sell drywall wholesale, because sports writers are at the bottom of the list. But I'm going to tell you a story about a sports writer, and you're going to feel as I did when I heard about it. And just bear with me on this. A guy named Eugene Foster has been a sports writer for the Gallup Independent since 2006. Like my father and my mother and I, he suffered from diabetes. And one of the consequences and complications of diabetes, nerve damage, is that, and Jay Cutler has type 1 diabetes, is that you can possibly have your foot or leg amputated. And I went through it with my father. I had one of his legs amputated. And Eugene Foster works for the Gallup Independent, recently had his foot amputated. His boss told him, sports editor, that he could work from home during the rehabilitation, and he was getting a prosthetic foot that he could continue working. And he gets a call from the publisher and editor, whose name I won't mention, who says, this is what Eugene Foster claims in the lawsuit he's filed against the Gallup Independent, that the publisher and editor contacted him and said, you can't walk the sidelines anymore. You can't work as a reporter. And he got fired. So he's filed action against them. And I just wonder, Jim Murray had really terrible eyesight problems. Jim Murray was in my opinion, the greatest sports writer this country's ever seen. He got to the point where he couldn't see, and there were people that would help him feel the game. So you're telling me that a sports writer has to walk the sideline, which, after my father had rehabilitation, he could walk the sideline. He got a prosthetic on his leg above the knee. He was able to walk. He was able to do everything. And if this story rings close to home, my father continued to be paid by two brothers that owned the department stores he worked for, and a new company bought it. They got rid of my father. They said, you can't work, we're not going to pay you anymore. So it does ring close to home and it rings closer to home that it could happen to me, it could happen to any of you out there with diabetes. There is an ADA, there's an American Disabilities Act in this country. So I think if you're an employer, you got to be very careful that you don't fire people or be offended by people who maybe have disabilities. I'm pulling for Eugene Foster to get another job. That's what he wants. He doesn't want the money. He was working from home. And sports writers can work from home. He could get in his car and go to high school games. It's not like he's covering the Broncos. He's covering high schools. They could have made arrangements for him to cover the team. I'm sure that high school coaches and principals would have brought players to him, would have brought coaches to him. He could have done his job, but yet they were so insensitive to what happened to him, they fired him at the Gallup Independent. So I hope that if you're not aware of the story, you can go to deadspin.com. You can Google the name. But Eugene, I'm pulling for you to get another job, a better job, continuing to do what you do best, and that's cover sports in a great way that you've done it since 2006. So my best wishes go out to Eugene Foster, and my worst wishes go out to the publisher and editor of the Gallup Independent. That was not the right thing to do.